all the Indian Savajogis may go to the top if required. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I have the great privilege of speaking to a distinguished audience in Delhi. I say distinguished because in this seat of government and this great place of government, learning, culture, so much that is India takes place here. And yet, what has to take place here is something of a revolution in spirituality, because it's from the center only that we can develop that which is innate within us, our spiritual growth. Last evening, with great clarity, Sri Mataji took us from that inner essence within, the knowledge of the Atma and the Kundalini, on a journey outwards, on a journey which is from the subtlest of subtle to that part which so many of us know very, very well as modern science, modern government, the social sciences, the economics and politics of the way we live. I'm a doctor and know very well the grosser aspects of the functioning of the human body. In fact, my own experience was such that I took a great deal of time to reach the point where I took to the study of medicine. In fact, my basic qualification was in all sorts of areas relating to economics and social science and so on. I took numerous PhDs, but there was a burning desire within me that took my seeking into a professional area where I could find more about the human body, about the human mind. And in so doing, I began the quest which was to become my fulfillment. At the age of over 45, I started my medical career, after 6 years hard study, but also after much seeking and a lot of damage that occurred in my seeking to that subtle instrument that lies within us. I was very, very sick. I'd had 2 heart attacks. I was suffering all sorts of disease processes which are common to you people, which I know very well and which are very, very painful and agonizing. I came to India, and after a long search, I met Sri Mataji. At that stage, I wanted to know more about how to get to the realm of causes, how to get to the realm which transcended the effects which we doctors treat. I wanted to get to a point where I could answer the patient who said, "But why does it happen? How does it happen?" I wanted to get to the point where I had an answer for people who had severe neuroses and psychoses. I didn't want to treat them symptomatically, nor did I want to treat them with drug therapy, nor did I want to treat them with smart, perhaps rather cleverly worded statements of how they should be treated. I wanted to get to the point, to the essence, and to give them the understanding, first of all, and then the power to become their own doctor. But this was a desire that I had since being a very small child. I always wanted to be a doctor. But somehow or other I got sidetracked until I was ready, until I myself was ready, because as I said, I myself had to wander through the highways and byways in my seeking to get to this point where I knew that I had to achieve my self-realization. Only then would I begin the final ascent in my spiritual quest. That point I gained at the feet of Sri Mataji. But I realized it was only a beginning. I realized that although in the past the great gurus have given realization to just a handful of people, and with her glorious advent, thousands are getting the same experience of self-realization, but that realization has to be taken a step further. It has to be developed. It has to be expanded within our own awareness to the point where the pure knowledge, the Shuddha Vidya, becomes part and parcel of our conscious awareness. Lord Vishnu, in his Maha form, the Lord Jesus Christ, said, "I will send you a counselor, a comforter, the Holy Spirit, who will teach you all things." He said it very clearly. But do we know what he meant? Those very powerful but extraordinarily subtle words. The Holy Spirit has to come to redeem us, to give us our second birth, as he promised. And she will be of a nature that comforts, that heals our wounds, our spiritual wounds, that nurtures us and nourishes us to the point where we start to feel the love within. But more than that, she will give us the blessing of the knowledge. And not only the knowledge, but the mechanism and the tools of that knowledge. This is what Sahaja Yoga is. This is the next stage of Sahaja Yoga. The mass realization is being done. Tens of thousands of people all over the world are gaining their self-realization. Many thousands are settling into it. In the West, we have centers all over the world where people's lives are being transformed, where terminal diseases are being cured, but more particularly where people are getting to the essence of their own joy, where they're achieving the blessings of their own spirit. This is a transforming energy which actually works within us from the inside out. And as I said, if we doctors are working in the realm of effects and treating symptomatically, Sahaja Yoga works in the opposite direction. It works from the inside out. Many people ask me, why do I keep suffering diabetes? Or why do I keep suffering all sorts of disease processes? Why am I constantly tense? Why are my muscles causing me to suffer cervical spondylosis? Why is it that I suffer migraine headaches? And they're very valid questions. But the validity of those questions has to be taken a step further. And you people must know that unless and until you get to the essential aspect of your own nature, the enlightenment of your spirit, nothing can be explained, nothing can be cured permanently, because the realm of causes is within. What happens within us when we achieve our self-realization is that the subtle instrument, all of the systems of chakras and nadis within us become enlightened. They not only become enlightened, but they become purified. They become channels and centers of vital energy which have a tremendously powerful effect on all the aspects of our nature, physical, emotional, and intellectual. I don't have to tell you people that beyond this physical body we have 3 layers. I don't have to explain these things because, thank God, in this India you people know this well, and I bow to that knowledge. I don't have to tell you people that you have to live by the laws of Dharma, because again, you know this well and your Dharma is intact. But what I do have to say is that often, like us in the West, the knowledge and the use of that knowledge and the tools that we use to apply that knowledge is often misdirected. What we have to achieve is a big breakthrough, a revolution, as I said, in the use to which our self-realization is put. No longer should we just simply be satisfied with achieving our own individual self-realization, because it is not yet fully achieved. Even if you are feeling the vibrations, as most of you did last night, even if you feel a quietness and a silence within, perhaps even reach the nirvichara state, that's not enough. This instrument has to be fully operational as an instrument of the divine. And one of the first things that has to happen is that that instrument has to be purified. And that purification of the instrument is what gives you your good health. It cures your diseases. It removes the blockages. It opens up the awareness. It puts you in touch with all divine knowledge, and it allows you to become not only an instrument which heals yourself, but one which heals others. Within us we have 7 chakras. We have 3 principal nadis, Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi, and Sushumna Nadi. When the Kundalini rises through the center, what it is doing is awakening the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system, for the first time in all our births, becomes functional as an integrated unit, not a disintegrated unit, which we doctors call the craniosacral outflow. No longer are we thrown from one side to the other by the 2 halves of the sympathetic nervous system when we operate in extremes, either the emotional extreme of Ida Nadi or the intellectual and physical side of Pingala Nadi. But we cease this seesaw activity and we start to direct our attention fully through the center, through Sushumna Nadi. And the Kundalini is the energy which begins that process. It was the Lord Buddha who said that we have to be in the center. It was the Lord Buddha who said everything in balance. So no longer in our births do we have to seesaw between Tamoguna and Rajaguna, but we can ascend through the center. So the parasympathetic nervous system begins to become itself enlightened, and the balancing mechanism, that which brings us into balance, even in physiological terms, starts to become the functional part of our being. Now, when that takes place, precisely what happens inside? As I said, we have 7 chakras: Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Hridaya, Vishuddhi, Ajna, and Sahasrara. All of those centers, by the thread of the Kundalini, become integrated. They are no longer functioning as separate units. They are no longer being distorted and constricted by our various habits of moving from left side to right side. No longer do we respond to the extremes of living. We begin to live in the center. We begin to function as a unit of the divine. And this, in medical terms, is very important, because we become an instrument which is our own doctor, but as well as that, we become an instrument which is that which can heal others. So what we have to acquire at this stage, at this great breakthrough stage, is the knowledge. It's not enough just to get your realization. It's not enough just to sit in silence, in your own meditation at home. You have to allow your own health to be repaired, and secondly, you have to give, firstly, the realization to others, and then sharing the blessings with others by teaching them this great knowledge. So this counseling aspect of her incarnation is so very important. All the knowledge actually comes from God. And if she is an instrument which awakens that within us which brings Atma to Paramatma, which takes the reflection of God Almighty as Lord Shiva to Sadashiva, that is the subtle happening within. But the grosser happening outside is what we all have to be blessed by. Sri Krishna said that we had to first get our yoga, then we get our well-being. But our well-being includes our good physical health. In a rather lighter vein, Almighty God isn't going to leave us sick people to do his work on this earth. As I said, I myself had had 2 heart attacks. I had a hemiparalysis. I was suffering acute liver problems. I was suffering migraine headaches. I had severe lumbar problems and I had cervical spondylosis. So I was a mess. But within weeks, and I mean weeks, these problems subsided and I now have a completely healthy body. I was going through psychological disturbances because I was taking all sorts of tranquilizers which were masking the effects. When the Idanadi and the superego is purified, when the left side is cleared of all the badas and blockages that occur, one's psyche becomes absolutely something to be enjoyed, not something which is troublesome, giving us tension, giving us all sorts of weird effects, but it becomes something where one can appreciate the joys of that part of our nature which feels. Equally, as the right side becomes cleared, we become pure intelligence. We use our brain power for sensible purposes. We make correct judgments. We use our physical body in a proper fashion, and our serious illnesses get better, and we just enjoy our life. So, what I want you to understand is the point to which Sri Mataji brought us yesterday. We have to understand fully the Vidya, not only intellectually, but we have to feel it in our heart. We have to be counseled, because this knowledge has never been given to us before. The Lord Jesus Christ said it had to be given, and he would be the one to send this incarnation to do the job. But let's fully appreciate, especially we doctors, that we have got to get down to the fact that there is a subtle instrument within, and that that subtle instrument is to be enlightened, and when it's enlightened, it has to be used for our own blessings and for the blessings of others. In other words, it's a very responsible position. Did you know, as medical practitioners, that 10,000 years ago it was written that, for example, there are 4 petals on the Muladhara chakra, and there are 4 subplexuses in the pelvic plexus? Did we know that there are 6 petals on the Swadhisthana chakra, and that medical science has found 6 subplexuses? At the Vishuddhi chakra level, do we know that there are 16 plexuses, and they relate to the 16 petals of Vishuddhi chakra? As if we needed something to prove. The divine has already given it, but we turn a blind eye. We don't want to know. We want to turn away from that which is so patently obvious towards, as I said, the realm of effects. Actually, we have to go beyond not only the effects, but we have to go beyond the cause as well. That, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave to Sri Mataji. Thank you very much.
There are a few seats, in between seats, vacant on the ground floor, and a few more seats on the first floor as well. So I may make a request to those of you who are sitting on the ground to occupy these seats and make yourself more comfortable. Thank you.
आप लोग आ जाइए, आके बैठ जाइए, कुर्सियां हैं, आगे आ जाइए आराम से। नीचे बैठने की ज़रूरत नहीं, कुर्सियां हैं, खाली हैं सब। असल में पहले सामने बिठा देना चाहिए। तो आइए, आ जाइए, आगे आ जाइए, जगह है, आ जाइए, हम थोड़ी देर रुक जाते हैं, आप आ जाइए, आ जाइए। आराम से आगे बढ़ जगह। कहीं जगह हो तो बिठा लीजिए। आप यहाँ जगह है कोई? कुछ लोग और बैठा, आप ज़रा सरक जाइए बीच में, अगर जगह है तो कॉर्नर में जगह छोड़ के दूसरों के लिए जगह आ जाए, है जगह। पहले बीच की सीट्स भर लें। अच्छा, अब बैठ जाइए। I bow to all the seekers of truth. Today I was saying that I'll speak to you in Hindi language, but the problem is, as I have to speak about the physical side of human beings, it would be better if I use English language. I hope you'll excuse me for that. First of all, we have to know that everything that was created before has a future. Every seed has all the map of all the trees that it is going to produce. It's such a marvelous, or we can say it's a tremendous task to plant or to plan such a map into a little seed like that. If you ever try to measure the greatness, the acuteness, the preciseness of this great planning, you will be flabbergasted. Your human brain cannot grasp it. How much this kind of work has been done, not about one seed, but about many seeds. thousands, billions, millions. You cannot just count. Same about human beings, if you see that we are human beings. All of us are made of different textures, color, complexion, temperaments, the permutations and combinations of so many varieties of hues and colors that it is impossible to understand how we are made so beautifully different. But we never think about ourselves. We take it for granted. Whatever we have got from the nature, we don't want to see what sort of machinery we are that the nature has made. For example, a computer, if you make, you have to feed it. You have to feed it with a programming which reflects back when you ask a question and then gives the answer. But this computer of a human being is such that it does not reflect. It's a reflex action. It's a reflex action. As soon as you see something, you know this is so. As I'm standing before you, you know that I'm here to speak to you. You don't have to think, go into a programming and find it. Such a computer we cannot create. We must understand, first of all, that we cannot do what divine has done. Whatever we do is all our dead work. We convert from one dead to another dead. We convert, say, a tree into a chair, and then we think we have done something great. Actually, the one who does it doesn't know that he is doing such the way it is done, because he stands in a position which is called as akar, where he does not do it. He thinks he's done nothing. Like the sun's rays, they are flowing, they are coming to you. The sun doesn't think he has done. Now the problem with us is that we have built-in system which makes us feel that we are doing this. This system was deliberately built in within us, because if we did not have this system of building up our ego, we would not have formed a complete balance within ourselves. There may be many doctors sitting here, as you know, that we say that the pineal body is not functioning, but it's not true. It functions in a very subtle way. The pineal body is the one that developed till we were animals. Then the ego started developing as human beings, or in certain animals also, when they come in contact with human beings, they too have an ego. The ego started developing, and with that ego, we developed a shell of a superego and ego, or manasa and the ego. So we have a shell in which we are bound. Now this was deliberately done to make us grow into that shell in our individual capacity, to make all mistakes or to make all ventures, to understand in our own capacity that whatever we have been doing has been in the wrong if we went into imbalances. This is how we had to learn about dharma. The dharma are 10 within us. These 10 dharmas, if you go into imbalances, then they spoil the balance, and either you develop the left side or the right side. So the causes of our problems come with these imbalances with us. Now the right side is the physical side and the left side is the emotional side. In the physical side, we can say the physical side has been derived or has come to us from all these 5 elements. These 5 elements have they made this physical side, but the left side is made by the emotional side, where ether also plays, akash also plays a part. So our body is made of 2 sides. If we do not know how to keep it in balance, we do not stay in the center. I'll give you a simple example to understand how we have to understand the working of this body. Like in a car, we have an accelerator and we have got a brake. We have to have a brake. If you have an accelerator and no brake, you know what will happen to the car. So to drive the car properly, to put it through the roads, we have to have these 2 energies working, one as the one that accelerates and another that retards. In the same way, we have got the right sympathetic nervous system and the left sympathetic nervous system. The right sympathetic accelerates and the left retards. Or we can say that is the emotional side and the another is the mental side. So it is not integrated force. it is diverse. It is against each other. And that's why when you go to one extreme, you miss the other by some points. And that's how the imbalance is created. Now when these two we try to master, the brake and the accelerator, we become the master. We can say we first become the driver. Then automatically, without even knowing about it, with reflexes only, you drive your car. You don't have to worry, where is the accelerator, where is the brake, how do I have to feel it. You just become automatically a person who knows what is right, what is wrong. And it is a reflex action that makes you a driver. But still you are a driver and the master is sitting behind. Now, when you get self-realization, what happens? That you become the master. You become the master, and then you see the driver within you, and you see the accelerator within you, and also you see the brake within you. You see all these forces. When you see all these forces, then you know where it is going wrong, what's happening. Just sitting down there in silence, you know what's happening, because all these three forces, you know how to master them. And this is exactly what is Sahaja Yoga today, is that first of all, we have to know that we have these three forces within us. The first one is the one which actually is the emotional force. The second one is the physical and mental force. And the central one is the one which is evolutionary. Now, when we say dharma, our idea goes to say dharmas, as we know, that Hindus, Christians, Parsis, Sikhs and all that. These are names given to a particular type of people who believed in particular type of worship or in particular incarnations. But actually what is within us, the innate dharma within us, that we are human beings. Now, as you have studied chemistry, you would know that carbon has 4 valencies. Then other things have different valencies. Even if you see the chart, the periodic table, you'll be surprised how all elements are beautifully distributed, how their atoms and their molecules are so beautifully arranged so that they should have 8 categories. So they have 8 categories, the 3 on the minus, 3 on the plus, 4 on the minus and 4 on the plus, and while the carbon has both. It is something very surprising that in the human nature, we do not realize that we too have valencies. As human beings, as the creation, we too have valencies. And these are 10. And they reside in our void, in the stomach, in the abdomen, or you can say the abdominal whole area, it resides there. This is what the valency of man is, his dharma, is his nature. Dharma means the one who sustains, the dharati sa dharma. So in every atom, it has come out by one dharma, it has taken more valencies, more valencies, more valencies, and it comes to a point when he becomes a human being, here the valencies are 10. Now these 10 valencies represent very, very subtle things within us. And once we go out of these 10 valencies, one is missing, then a negativity is formed, then some negative comes into. If some positive is missing, then some another positive thing comes into. It's very simple to understand. A man who is a normal person, who thinks normally, who lives normally, doesn't go into imbalances, it doesn't go into any extremes, is absolutely happy with himself. He doesn't have to bother as to how to take a one flag and run after something and reach something and do something. But the trouble with human beings is that when they are futuristic by nature or right-sided, they always tend, I would say, to form a kind of a group which represents some sort of a fanatic, nonsensical, extreme ideas. These extreme ideas, whether it is politics, economics or anything, makes you a person who has a barrier to all that is reality. Because reality you can only know in the center. But because you have moved so much away from that, so it is impossible to tell them about reality. Now today, as I am talking about physical things, I would like to tell you about how, because I also did medicine, so I know what happens to doctors. Now doctors, when take to medicine, their ego is built up. Everybody who does anything like that builds up an ego. The reason is that they think we are doing it. When we think that we are doing something, we build up an ego. It's not only the doctors, the Vaidyas, or anybody, any profession, the pleaders, anything they study, use their mental processes. Anybody who uses mental processes develops an ego, which is a built-in process within us, and you develop that ego within. Then you are not identified with reality, actually. What you are identified with is the knowledge you have, plus your ego. Now this ego comes in between, because somebody takes a view, then he sticks on to it. He says, no, this is cancer, means cancer. The thing is, if somebody says it is curable, they'll say, no, how can it be? I have never studied. So there's nothing in the medical sciences. Nobody has discussed this. This is something impossible. This is coming from somewhere which is very arbitrary, and we cannot listen to it. This is a very big barrier for people of profession to understand surgery, because they have developed a certain amount of ego and a conformity that this is the science, the thing exists beyond that. But I would say then a person is challenged, because if he is a scientist, then he must keep his mind open to everything, whatever may be the realm. It may be divine realm, it may be any other, what we call Adibhautik or Adidaivik, means the subconscious, or from the supraconscious. Whatever may be the realm, a scientist must keep his mind open that I am dealing with one side of life which has given me one-sided attitude. I have studied in the universities, I have studied in the colleges and all that, and now whatever I have studied is not complete. If it was so, you should have been able to cure diseases. But you are not. There are so many diseases you just cannot cure, and as Dr. Warren has said, you do not know the cause of it. You cannot explain how it goes. So you have to go in a very circuitous way to find out the cause. And then you fight with the cause and the effect. But could be a realm, there could be a realm which is beyond the cause. There could be an area. Let us take a scientific attitude. If somebody puts before you a hypothesis, then you should take a very scientific attitude towards it. There could be a realm which is beyond the effects and which is beyond the cause. If you fight between the cause and the effect, you cannot reach very much. Because you try to create one cause, improve one cause, it will give another effect. When you try to give penicillin to cure some infection, you see there's another effect. That's why what we find when we give one medicine to one person, it has an effect another than this. So as they say, कि एक भूत को निकाला तो दूसरा भूत बैठ गया. Now we have to go beyond the cause and effect. How do we go beyond cause and effect is the point. At this point, we must understand, we must have the humility of a scientist. That I have not known that realm so far. I have not been there. I have not understood that. Let us move to that new realm of negation of cause, where you just go beyond cause. Now this, how it can happen and how it can work out, we cannot find it in medical science books. It's not written. Because medical science has started, say, treating the leaf for its diseases. It has not gone to the roots. It has not gone to the sap. It has not risen through the sap. But it starts from outward inside. And what we have to do is to go inside to see what resides within ourselves. Now when we talk of our plexuses and we say because of this plexus gone out of control, that plexus gone out of control, or by this ductless gland not working or that not working, this happens. But still our limited knowledge doesn't take you beyond that cause which we are trying to cure by some medicine or something. From one cause to another, to another, to another, we go on creating causes and thus the effects. You must have seen many patients who go in the hospital, they are suffering from one trouble, so they develop another trouble. Now to go beyond it, God Almighty, which doctors don't want to accept, that's not good, they should accept. He exists. He does exist, whether you like it or not. We can say the nature, if you like that word. The nature has created within us a built-in system. A built-in system which is a comforter, which is a curator, which cures you, which redeems you, which takes you away from all the causes of the effect. What is that system within us? We should try to. Now, I will, as doctor has already told you about the chakra, I'll tell you about the force that resides within us, which is called as the Kundalini. This is called in 3.5 coils within us in the triangular bone called as sacrum. Now just see the word sacrum. I went to Greece and asked them, why did you call this triangular bone as sacrum? They said, because it's a sacred bone. Why is it a sacred? Because it is said that when you burn the body, this still remains. But I said, what? They couldn't answer. It's the Kundalini in it. They knew that there is some force in it which was sacred, that's why they call it. You'll be surprised in Greece, they have done so much work that the word Athens comes from, they said, from the word Atha. Atha means what? They said in Sanskrit it means primordial, and also in their language it means primordial. And what is Athena is the primordial mother. You'll be surprised that when you see Athena herself, she has a snake in her hand like this with chakras made. But they cannot relate it to something spiritual. They cannot have that rapport with that spiritual realm because they don't have those people. They have lost all that knowledge that they had from some Indians, which said that put a proper symbol of Athena. The symbol is perfect. Even if you go to Persepolis where they have made a temple of her, then they have there a beautiful temple with a child god sitting there, Sri Ganesha. And these steps are, they said, are 3.5, means 3 are complete and half is short. And they said, if this is in circular, it's in a circular way, put it, it's a circle, but the circle can cover the whole world. Just now you cannot see the movement of the angle, but it is calculated in such a way that it can cover the whole world. They cannot relate, though they have these things with them, the past has given this, they cannot relate it to Kundalini. Now we are going through them, so how are we going to relate it to anything that we have here? Now this Kundalini is a living force. Is a living force, is the true desire, the Shuddha Ichcha, the pure desire within us. It's a living force which has to ultimately give us our second birth. The second birth has been described by all the saints. But as we are so separated, there's no integration, saints do not have any place in the books of medicine. They have nothing to do with it. There are some another category, saints are put there, doctors put there, psychologists put there, another one put there. We are all so disintegrated that there is no combination made. But why not go to the saints and find out what they have to say about it? After all, they also know a lot. The saints have told that this is the force which resides in the triangular bone, which rises through these 6 centers. The 7th one doesn't play the part, it is below the Kundalini, and comes out of this fontanelle bone area, which is a soft bone, and gives you realization. Clear? Now, this has not happened to many. It has happened to very few. So the people don't want to believe the saints. They do not want to accept that this is possible. Now, this Kundalini is your individual mother. Everyone has this Kundalini of their own. Is all your past written on it, just like a tape recorder. When the Kundalini rises, like a primule in a sea, when it rises, it pierces through all these 6 chakras, and then I hope the doctors won't be shocked that the deities of these chakras are enlightened. Now we have got deities. We know that there are deities. We also talk about deities. In the house of a doctor, you'll find a Ganapati kept, they'll say Namaste. But that Ganapati has something to do with your pelvic plexus, they will never try to relate. They will never try to relate. The whole body is integrated. And it is so complicated that you cannot just separate it with physical being to the emotional being from other, whatever are his habits and things like that. I'll give you a simple example. We had a person, very saintly person, I should say, because he came to Sahaja Yoga and he was a great worshipper of Ganapati. And he came to see me. He has a heritage also of Agnihotri. They used to have 300 Agnihotras and all that. He came to see me, he said, Mother, I don't know why I am suffering from prostate gland. I was myself amazed, because it is controlled by Sri Ganesha at the first center. Now how can he suffer from prostate gland? Now see, the doctor should see the subtler side of it. I said, all right, doesn't matter. My prasad is some chana I gave. I gave him some chana. All right, you have this chana. He started looking this side. I said, why, what's the matter? He said, today is Sankashti and I do not take chana. Now can you believe it? This is adharma, to do fasting on the day of the birth of Sri Ganapati. That is Sankashti. It is adharma. This is an insult, because that is the day he is born. That is the day he is to be celebrated. That is the day you must have some sweets in the house. Instead of that, you are celebrating as if somebody is dead. To a mental mind, it will not go into that. But you will be surprised. I said, all right, now this is the biggest mistake you have committed. Give up your upavas on the day he was born. Take this chana. He ate it. When he went back, his prostate was cured. It's a fact. You can find it. There are so many, factually, we have cured so many people which doctors have accepted. So many troubles we have cured. There's no doubt about it. But how I have worked it out? By correcting the entire personality, not one physical being that you cut the prostate, take it out and finish and you are all right. Now Muladhara Chakra, which is the first chakra within us, is a very, very important center. But chakras are not the one on which we can jump and say we are beyond cause. It is in the Kundalini. Kundalini is the central part. It is not attached to anything, but it gives light. Like you have seen a flame. Flame is not attached, but it gives light. In the same way the Kundalini goes and she gives light to these deities. When the deities are enlightened, they start throwing their particular type, the peculiar type, or you may call the very innocence. In the case of Sri Ganesha, it starts spreading. Now doctors will never believe that innocence or anything has to do with the troubles of the pelvic plexus. Nobody will believe. Now when I went to America first time, I told them, don't go into this Freudian nonsense. He is a Rakshasa. He is going to finish you all. You don't know to what extent he has ruined you. But they would not listen. They said, what's wrong? What's wrong? Now they have got a disease. I told them you'll get a disease which will be incurable. They have got a disease called AIDS, has come out of the same because they have lost their innocence. If you lose your innocence, you develop all these diseases of the pelvic plexus. Left-hand side. All left-hand side diseases of the pelvic plexus you get when you have lost your innocence. You know, all the diseases which we call as dirty diseases, which are not curable, are because of that. So to go to the cause, to the end of it, where we land up, is to see that Ganesha is being insulted. On the right hand side of the Muladhara, supposing a person is very overactive, very futuristic. He has no time for his children, he has no time for his wife, he is all the time working very hard, and he is all the time overactive with his physical being or with his mental being. He will develop the trouble of the right, like constipation and all other stuff. Austerities of funny type that people have, austere things. You see, I have seen people doing all kinds of nonsensical austerities which are not required. Actually, God has made you to enjoy life. He has not made you to suffer at all. He doesn't want you to suffer at all. On the contrary, He has made everything so beautiful that you should enter into His kingdom, understanding how gracious He is. But we are the ones, we try to make ourselves suffer. For example, now people have a great sense that we must suffer to get to God. This is another nonsensical idea, very prevalent with us. So we say we must fast. I can understand somebody is fasting for the physical goodness, but not to the extent that everybody is trying to slim down to become an actress, everybody is going into a fad and spoiling their health. Now the fasting is not to be done for God at all, it's wrong. It is insulting to God. Why do you want to fast for God? Who has told you to fast? They might say, particular Bhatt has come and told me, particular Pujari has told me. But what about him? Does he fast? He takes all the money from you and makes you fast. There is no need to fast at all for people who think that they have to reach God. You don't have to suffer. If you ask for suffering, you will get it. As it is in our country, we are dying of fasting, aren't we? The Jews refused, they denied Christ and said, we will not accept Christ because he says he has suffered for our sufferings and you need not do any more sufferings. They said, we don't want to accept this proposition. We must suffer. So all right, you suffer, you have Hitler, enjoy the suffering. We should be happy people. We should be joyous people. We should be festive. Be thankful to God. Count your blessing every day. That's one of the ways to keep yourself very healthy. And not to fast in the name of God. Cut your hair in the name of God. Put cold water onto it. Do all kinds of nonsensical things in the name of God. Which God will be happy? If you want to make your mother unhappy, you say, all right, I'll fast today. So your mother is unhappy. She thinks that this boy is angry with me. I don't know why he's not eating. And this is what exactly we are doing even in our spiritual practices. So those who indulge into spiritual practices in a wrong way suffer from physical problems. Those who indulge too much into futuristic things, like the people who are very futuristic, they are not bothered about God, they are not bothered about religion, they have no time. They are very busy people. You just see their faces as if an aeroplane is passing before you. They have no time for anything. Such people suffer from so many diseases like heart attack. Now heart attack can be of two types. One is due to lethargic heart, another is to overactive heart. The person who has an overactive temperament, especially in Delhi, everybody is a busy person, very busy, no time. I asked somebody, are you coming to the program? No, mother, I have no time. I have to do some files. Everybody is responsible as if, like Shri Krishna, they are holding the Govardhan on their heads. Such people have to suffer from heart, no doubt. Because what they are doing, they are going to imbalances. They are going too much to the right side. And they are forgetting what resides in the heart is the spirit. They have no time for their spirit. Spirit disappears, they get a heart attack. High blood pressure is also due to the same. Now you might say that mother, high blood pressure comes because this and that and that. But basically it comes when you have imbalances. Those people who are overactive think too much. Then what actually happens, I'll tell you. What actually happens that you have a center, what we call as aortic plexus, as you know, has the subtle center which looks after it as Swadhisthana chakra. The Swadhisthana chakra is converting your fat cells into such cells which will be used by your brain for your gray matter. When you are thinking too much, it is to be replaced. And for that replacement, the cells are created in the stomach and then they are transferred in the blood for the use of the brain. Now you are thinking too much, the process is too much, but this Swadhisthana chakra has to do other jobs also, is to look after the liver, look after the pancreas, look after your spleen, look after part of the uterus and intestines. So neglecting all that, you are just thinking all the time. So the first thing that will happen to you, you will have liver trouble, hot temperament. You will be a very thin person. You will have a temperament that at the slightest you can shoot off into tempers because you are thinking too much. The Swadhisthana is not giving any balances to the liver and liver is heated up. The heat is not carried away and the heat is in the liver. When the heat is there, such a person becomes very hot tempered. But then you develop cirrhosis of the liver and all the troubles of the livers come out of that. But also there could be a lethargic liver, which is the other side, which I'll tell you tomorrow. But today I'm telling you about the overactive people. Such liver patients have biliousness and they suffer from very bad attention. Their attention is very bad. Now, the another thing we have done, stupidly, I don't know from where it has come, I don't know, but it has come to India also, that we have to use our eyes not for flirting. We have not to use them for sex activity. They are not for sex activity. I don't know from where this idea has come that the eye should be used for sex activity. So the whole sex system is upset. Then your eyes are upset and you cannot keep your attention in level. Plus your liver is out, so your attention is finished. Today only somebody came to see me, an architect. I was trying to tell him something. He could not listen, he could not hear me. It was nothing in his head. Nothing could go into his head because his attention was like this all the time. He was only knowing what he has to say. He was saying it again and again and again and again. I then stopped talking. Then he realized that he is not listening to me. This is what happens to you when your attention goes like that. Now, when attention is lost, your attention is not that, you become like a madman. It's a funny thing to talk to someone. You are talking to someone who is looking that side, looking that thing. Nothing is registered. 1/10 of what you say doesn't, nothing is registered. So such a person cannot know anything what is happening. Now this Swadhisthana chakra, when you fail it in the way that you always start thinking, you are flirting, you are using it for some another purpose, then what happens? Your liver goes out, your kidneys go out, that's why high blood pressure. You get your pancreas out of gear, so you get diabetes, then you get also spleen into trouble. Spleen is the most dangerous thing. When it is out of gear, it troubles you much more, because that is the one which regulates your timing. It's the timekeeper. Now the people who early in the morning will read a newspaper, as it is, newspaper should not be read in the morning time. It's such a shocking thing. They believe in giving you sensations, you see. And you are so much used to sensations that unless you have some sensational news, you don't like it. So they try to find out some sensations, and when you get the sensation, what happens? That you get shocked. After all, you are a human being. You are not a stone that you won't be shocked. You are shocked. Then you have to take your food, go to your office in time. Now you start up. You start driving mad on the way. Maybe you are in a bus or whatever, you are thinking, now how will I reach the office? All the time you are hectic. That time maybe you are eating your breakfast on your way and thinking that I'll finish the breakfast. Now this is a very hectic way of life. When you are hectic, the spleen does not know how to react to your hectic activities, and it starts becoming crazy, it does not know how to act, and that's how the vulnerability for the blood cancer is set into your system in the spleen. So we are in for blood cancer. Now whatever you may try for blood cancer, you do this, you do that, whatever you may try, it will again set in. Because the machine that is set that way works that way. You may take out the blood, put another blood, do what you like. Ultimately, you will find he'll again get it. So you have not gone beyond the cause. Now the cause is hectic behavior. You cannot get over hectic behavior because you are used to it. From childhood you have been a hectic person. There are mothers who are so hectic that the children get blood cancer. Mothers who are very planning tired, this should be like this, it's so good, everything should be such that they set themselves up as if they are going to shoot off to moon. You see, the car key should be there, this should be there. Such a process of militarization, or sort of putting a human being into a mechanization and making them into a machine-like thing, makes you so hectic. Because your body cannot take that nonsense. It cannot. It's a human body. Must understand it's a delicate human body created with love and affection, and here you are making it into a machinery. You cannot make a machine out of it. And once you start to make a machine, the body reacts. And as a reaction to that, the spleen is vulnerable for your cancer and other diseases, which can be very dangerous. So when we do hectic activities, it happens. So then we say, all right, let us go get up, give up this habit of hectic nature. You cannot. Even if you want, you cannot. You cannot do it. Because by temperament you are like that. I have seen people who, once they see at the airport, they go off their head. If they are carrying some luggage with them, they forget it, they don't know what. And they can notice also that when they go to the airport or to any busy place, to the station or any place where they have to catch a bus, they go off their heads. The reason is the mind is now set that way. You cannot change it. You cannot change that mind. By whatever thing you try, today you will say, all right, no hecticness, slowly I'll sit down, have my food, let my wife fan me, with that rhythm I'll eat. That's not possible. And you'll say in modern times how to do it. It's true, you cannot. Now what to do? At that time, you have to become the spirit. If you become the spirit, the nature of spirit is such that it is restful. You live with peace. Whatever may be the hectic activity outside, you are at peace with yourself. There's no problem about it. Like you are going, say, into the water, you see the waves, you are frightened of it. The waves are rising and falling, you see the waves, you are frightened of it. But supposing you are in the boat and you know that you are in the boat, then what happens? You enjoy it. You are no more hectic, you are not bothered, and you remain in that silent position. And whatever may be the way you live, whatever may be the styles one has to adopt because of his circumstances in these modern times, he is at peace with himself. That's how he can put down all these problems of hecticness, of problems of imbalances within himself. The another thing happens is that a person who becomes realized, first of all becomes nirvichara at this Agya Chakra, means there is no thought. When there is no thought, there is no wasteful energy going out. Because those people who think, want thinking like, you see there's yarn and yarns of thinking going on, the thought is all the time bothering you so much that this thought cannot be stopped. No doctor can stop the thought unless and they give some injections. But even then the thought is there. Even when you are sleeping, your thought is there. Tranquilizers, the thought is still there. So what do? At that time, you have to become nirvichar. If I say you become nirvichar, you cannot. You cannot. So when you become nirvichar, what happens to you? That there's a thought from the future, thought from the past. All these thoughts, you are jumping on the cusp of the thoughts. But what happens to really to you is that in the center of the thought is the present, where you just still yourself. There is no thought. No thought. When there is no thought, the wasteful energy of thinking goes away. So the stored energy of thinking is such a lot that you don't have to worry. Whenever you want to think about something, you go into a dimension which nobody has known. All the great artists, all the great creators have been realized. Name any one of them. They have been all great realized souls. You can make them out by their vibrations. Like we can say the Michelangelo. Michelangelo was a realized soul. You can see from whatever he has created emits vibrations. Any great writer, you tell me, they were all realized souls who have given a substantial amount of reality to human beings. And these are the people who have felt the existence of that peace within themselves, have lived with them, gone through all kinds of bad experiences, but have kept peace with themselves. That's why self-realization is a very important thing for people who have to think and who have to plan. Now the planning you do is also a planning which is very defective. As I told you yesterday, the futuristic people try to plan out too much, do this, do that. That also is responsible for sometimes bad health. Because you plan something. You plan that I will take this and do that. But it doesn't materialize. It doesn't materialize. It just, you feel frustrated with it. Because it does not materialize. Because you plan it at a time where you are not integrated with the whole. You are planning on your own, on a very particular area which doesn't cover the whole. Once you plan the whole thing in such a way that you know the plan of the divine, then it's much easier. I'll give you my own example. I never plan. I never plan. There's no planning needed for me at all because I know what is the plan is. Like yesterday, they wanted me to go to Jaipur. And they said, Mother, we want to go to Jaipur. So they were trying here, there, and they said, no, there's no plane ticket, there's no this ticket. They came to me and they told me. I said, all right, doesn't matter. Next moment we phoned, we received that they are already booked. Now how it has worked out? You go beyond thought. You go beyond the realm of cause. What was the cause? Was congestion, this, that. You just go beyond that, it works out. But it is not easy to understand with your mental activity. You cannot, because mental activity is limited. I am talking of the unlimited. The unlimited is so tremendous, it is so effective that to go beyond the cause is the only way you can master the whole thing. Otherwise you cannot. You try anything else, any other method or any theory, it will not work out. And you can go there. I'll give you another simple example. There was a Sahajogini, and she was going on in a very busy autobahn, means a big road which was carrying big lorries and big vehicles. And she lost her control over the brake or something. And she got very much worried because, you see, from all the sides the cars were coming. She knew that within a few minutes she'll be finished. And there was another one behind. So just she closed her eyes. She said, Mother, now it's finished, you look after. And when she opened her eyes, she saw her car going to the side of the road. and there it was standing. And she was surprised. You see, she saw the brick was all. Now you won't believe this. It is not to be believed, because with this brain it is not possible. You have to see yourself these things. This Dr. Warren didn't tell you what happened with him also. On the matter also, you can go beyond cause, because the matter is controlled by something. If you become that, if you become the divine, then you control the matter. You do control, but you do not show chamatkaras and all that. That nonsense you don't do. But you see it working out this way. Like when Dr. Warren got his realization, he was surprised that such a great thing has come and that we should give realization to people, and he was very enthusiastic. When he went back to Australia, he found that he had very little petrol in the car. He said, all right, doesn't matter, we'll drive the car. 21 days there was strike. And 21 days is a record. You can see, find out. He visited places, he went round, he talked to people, and when he went to the station, gas station, they said it's all full. Now you may say, how can it be? It is miraculous. God is miraculous. Divinity is miraculous. Because it cannot conceive, this brain cannot conceive. Doesn't mean that there is no miracle of God. He's so miraculous that if you start seeing his miracles, you'll be amazed. That's why Krishna said, Yoga Kshema Vahamyam. First you get to yoga, then I'll look after. How he manages? Because you go beyond cause. You just go beyond cause. Now it has appeared in London papers about one of the miracles that Sir Yoga has done, that there was a meeting in Bedford where I was speaking. And it was about 8 o'clock. The meeting started 7 o'clock like this. And with lots of people for that meeting. And one boy fell down from a bridge about 18, 19 feet down below, absolutely down, with his motorbike. And the people saw him falling down. So they sent for an ambulance. The ambulance came in. But they saw the boy walking up nicely. They were quite surprised. When he came in the car, in the ambulance, they asked him, how is it you are walking? Nothing is wrong with you. No, I'm all right, I'm cured. They said, cured? Who cured you? He said, I'll tell you, the hospital. The police had come and everything was there. And he gave a statement that I cured by an Indian lady who wears a white sari and has a white Mercedes. So actually they said there was no white Mercedes, there was no Indian lady, nothing, he's just telling you something. But doctors were amazed because nothing was broken, there was no blood, nothing. They were surprised. So it appeared in the newspapers later on. When he saw my photograph, he said, this is the lady who did it. But at that time, I was speaking to so many as a witness. Now then they asked him, what did you say? He said, I just said, Holy Mother, please help. That's all he said. He said, I just said, Holy Mother, please. It is in the newspaper. Of course, the newspaper abroad are not so funny as they are here. I mean, here, the newspaper people are neither here nor there. Neither they are modern nor they are ancient. I don't know where they are hanging because I don't know what they are looking for. The people there have printed all this in a newspaper and they said that this was a miracle. We did not understand. Another example is there was a lady who was suffering from a disease where she would not get out of her house at any cost. She was so frightened, she would just sit in one room and would go to the bathroom, stay there, eat her food, and she didn't go out for days together. So everybody was surprised that this lady, what's the matter with her, that she cannot be cured. Doctors came, gave her tranquilizers, this, that, whatever they could lay their hands onto, they tried. And it was surprising that she would not budge. So the newspaper people just came to test me. And they said, there's a lady who cannot come to your program, then can you help her? I said, really? I can, but can you get her photograph? So they showed me the photograph. I said, all right, it's all right, you go home. They went home. And then next day, I told them, leave her alone for 8 days. But they were mischievous, so they went to see her. Next day, she had gone out on the moors for a walk with her husband. And it's all in the newspaper. And they said the guru that fulfilled the promise, you see. And the one who had not done for years had done it. Now what did I do? I did nothing. I looked at her photograph. That's all I can tell you. I did not do anything whatsoever. But I stand at a point which is beyond the cause. If you go beyond the cause, you will also find the same thing working out. As we say, Yoga Kshema Vahamyam, what Krishna has said is true. But first take your yoga. Once you take your yoga, your health improves, your material being improves, everything improves. But if you are an intellectual filled with these mental projections, you cannot reach them. Try to understand this is beyond your mental activity. It's beyond your emotional activity. Now bhakti, they go on bhakti, bhakti, bhakti. They say, Mother, nothing happens to us. This is nothing but an emotional projection where a person thinks, oh, I am at the feet of the Lord, I am praying to Him, does that. Whatever you have heard about Christ, about the saints, about Gyaneshwara or anyone is a fact. There's no miracle about it. Because the realm where they stand sounds miraculous to us because it is beyond our mind. It is beyond the limited human mind. So let us not just get into that arrogance and that kind of an ego which denies us the reality. Who is the loser? Who is the loser? Those who are enjoying that or those who are not enjoying? Who is the loser? The one who is not enjoying that bliss is the loser. So let us enter into that effect. I can tell you 1,001 things about how one can cure diseases. One can cure cancer. One can do that. For that you can read some books we have. You can yourself practice it. Once you get your vibrations, you will know this. But the main thing about matter is that you must get the integrated idea about your own being, that it's an integrated thing and the whole integrated being reacts to something that is foreign, which is imbalance, which is not dharma. And when it reacts to that, you get into trouble. Some might say, we are so dharmic. That's your self-certificate. Some person may look to be a person who is an atheist, but may be a very dharmic person. And a person who believes in God and goes to temple every day may not be. So the imbalances that has been created within us with our mental projections or through our emotional projections are to be brought to the center. That's all. Once you bring to the center, the chakras are like this. If you take them to the left and the right, they just get disturbed or sometimes dislocated, and you have no relationship with the whole. That's how you become malignant. But when the chakras are brought in the center by your dharmic behavior, then the kundalini easily passes through and you get your realization. But now, today, the situation is such that you need not even have that. As it is, when you put your hands towards me, it can work out. The chakras can be brought like that. And then the kundalini will rise. You need not bother about putting your dharma right first and then your kundalini will rise. Your kundalini will rise in any case. And it will help you in any case. This is what we have to understand, that we have to go beyond the cause. And all the causes are controlled and cured, redeemed, comforted by the divine. So whether you have faith in divine or not, it works. It is there. And so many things you can start explaining when you will get into that realm, which is your own, which is there with you, is within you, which you should take. As a mother, what I feel is a concern. Why not people open their eyes to this? Why are they stranded with their ego, with their particular ideas that they have? Why not they open out a little bit more and get the fragrance of the lotus that is within us, within them? This is what is my concern is, and that's why I am requesting you as a mother that please open your mind to this thing. Whatever saints have said is true. Whatever incarnations have said is absolutely the truth. Just you have to receive it and get it. Don't get unnecessarily wasting your time into some nonsensical comments and some useless babbling. That is the worst thing that you can do to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Respect yourself. You are a human being on this earth, especially on this country, which is such a blessed country. And then now at this time, be nice to yourself. This is the swartha. Swa-artha, the one which gives you the meaning of swa, is swartha. Our saints also very clever. They said, get the swartha. Swartha means swa, the artha of swa. So why not get to it and have it and enjoy it? For a mother, it is just, you see, when the child says, no, she just puts a little bit in the mouth and see, then the child says, all right. So let us not be that kind of children. Let us be open-minded and get into yourself. It is beyond the cause and the effect, which Confucius has written, which so many Chinese philosophers have described. Lao Tse has said it. Then we have many people up to 100 years. We had in England a great poet, William Blake, who has talked about it. I mean, there have been so many people talking about it. Muhammad Sahib has talked about it, Nanak Sahib has talked about it, Kabira just now has talked about everything. You heard the song that Kabira has sung. Is nothing but Sahaj, spontaneous system of awakening your Kundalini and taking you beyond the realm of cause. I hope it will work out again today and that you will settle down with yourself, with your peace and bliss, which is your own nature. May God bless you.
Okay. Move the chair. In front?
A simple thing has to be done. No? I'll just put it out again. No? Cause and effect again. हो गया बंधन देती सिर्फ बंधन देने का just again cause and effect. I just gave it a bandhan, it worked. Just the same is just now before you. But one person can't do it. Many have to get into it. To have a collective effect of that kind, many people have to do it. It's a collective happening. It's not individual. One person sitting on the Himalayas cannot work it out. If anyone could have done it, I would have done it myself. I cannot. It is to be channelized through many people. And if many people come round and work it out together in collective way, then it works out. Because I have seen people who get realization and they never appear in the center. And then after 10 years they meet me that I am in a Sahaj Bhav. I said, what is this Sahaj Bhav? You must come to the collective. Then you will have the effects of it. You will understand and you will also support the whole collective working of the mechanism. It is a collective working. It's not one individualistic. So it's no use giving realization to a person who is hanging somewhere in the far-fetched places. But it's a lamp, or you can call a huge big beacon that is to be lit by many flames, and all these flames must work out together. Then it works out. And therefore I find people with ego fail a lot, because they think they are big position people, they are rich people, or they have this and that, and they do not know how to cope with the other ordinary people. This is one thing I must say, that in the Islam, if you see, even if you are a king or an ordinary person, namaz time, everybody is on the same level. In the same way, in the realm of God, you are all same. God doesn't understand money, position, and all those things. What he understands is how divine, how much divine you are. And that's what one has to understand, that it works out in a collective way and not in individual methods. So if you start working it out on individual methods and then say, Mother, it did not work out, I'm not responsible for that, and then I should not be challenged. But if you come to our center and you work out collectively, you'll be amazed how things will work out. All your problems will be sorted out in no time, because you'll go beyond the cause and effect. At this time, when we are talking of science and so meticulously describing A, B, C, D, that is the time to talk about abstract of this kind is rather very much of a venture, but it's a fact. And this is the only time when one can talk about it, and this is the only time when you can get it also. So I better do it whether you like it or not, so at least you won't say that I didn't tell you. Yeah, just hold it a little closer because either I go towards it. ठीक है, जोर से हिलाने से उसका. Now, only thing you have to do is to put both hands towards me like this. Before that, take out your shoes because we have to use the Mother Earth. Both the feet on the Mother Earth, separate. So further here, this side. Let me keep it at my here. Now it's better. Now it's better. All right, thank you very much. That's all. Is it? It will not fall. Already, most of you are beyond thoughts. They are beyond thoughts. Take out your shoes, and you must know that also it has an effect on your eyes, so please take out your spectacles. If you have anything heavy in the neck or any malas given by gurus and all that, please remove it. Better keep this little loose so your attention is not diverted to that. Now, with a very open mind, one should sit down, that whatever is the reality, I want to see that. And not to feel guilty, as I told you yesterday, that I've done this wrong, that wrong. Because once you know that you are going beyond cause, then all these problems also will vanish. So just do not have these ideas, I've committed this mistake, I should not have done that, or I'm guilty about this. So please remove the guilt from your mind. If any little guilt is there, just remove it and start with a clean plate, with all respect and love about yourself. Now, you have to use the left side, which is the desire power, as the hand towards me, and the right hand as the action, Kriya Shakti. And when you use this right hand, I will tell you how to use it and how to raise your own Kundalini. You are doing it to yourself, and it is very simple to do it. First you have to put it on the heart, and then you have to put it on the upper part of the stomach, the lower part of the stomach, and then you have to go back the same way, and then here on the shoulder, in this corner, and then you have to put it on your head, here, forehead, and then at the back, and then your palm on this fontanelle bone area, the talu, and move it clockwise. It's very simple, which it will take hardly 6-7 minutes to do it. But please be attentive and don't open your eyes. It's an antar yoga which works within yourself. And as Dr. Warren has said, that the whole thing takes place. But after that, you must respect it. You must respect your realization. You must work it out, and you must develop it. And those who have been yesterday here will find that it will improve. But going home, then you don't think about it, because you'll lose your vibrations again. So please try not to think about it. It is the realm which is beyond thinking. So now, without feeling guilty, without having any such depressive thoughts, you have to be very prasanna chitta, that is pleasantly sitting, waiting to get this great experience of your spirit. Prasanna chitta. not to be smiling or not to be doing any acting like that, but inside you should be prasanna that today, after so many births, you are entering into the kingdom of God, which is your right to enter, but today it is going to materialize, actualized. Thank you very much. Now put your attention, if possible, in this area, but please sit down, please sit down. Put your attention in this area and don't turn your eyes towards it, but just close your eyes and just put attention there. Means you just watch there, but don't turn your eyes or concentrate, nothing. Just in a very mild manner, you can just look at it, that's all. Now with the right hand, I will tell you that you have to put the right hand to your heart. Now this is very important. Yesterday there was such a catch on the heart, you can't imagine. My finger, the heart finger was really, I was thinking some people are about to have a heart attack or like that. It's horrible. So please be careful on this point. Put your right hand on the heart, not in the center, but on the heart, and press a little bit, right hand. It's very important because this is the seat of the spirit. This is the seat of the spirit. And now placing this hand on the heart, close your eyes and you have to ask me a question which is a fundamental question. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask this question 3 times. Mother, am I the spirit?
Mother,
No, in your heart. Need not loudly ask. Need not ask loud. Mother, am I the spirit? Just put it to your heart. First let us do this. Important. Close your eyes. Don't open your eyes at any cost. Don't open your eyes. Please don't open your eyes. Because Kundalini won't rise, I tell you. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question. Right hand on the heart. Right hand अपने हृदय पे रखें. Right hand अपने हृदय पे रखें. लेफ्ट हैंड हमारी ओर, जिससे कि इच्छा हमारे अंदर है, हम अपना आत्म साक्षात्कार चाहते हैं. अब 3 बार ये सवाल पूछें. Please ask this question 3 times. With all sincerity. Mother, am I the spirit? We have to be sincere to ourselves. Ask this question, Mother, am I the spirit? Without doubting yourself or doubting me or anyone, just ask this simple question. Now, it follows when you say you are the spirit, or you ask such a question, you have to ask another question by putting your right hand in the upper part of the abdomen, which is the Swadhisthana chakra, the Guru, which is the Guru principle here. Right side, right hand on the left hand side of the upper part of the abdomen. अपना right hand आप लेफ्ट साइड के पेट के ऊपरी हिस्से में रखें और दबाएं. This center is the Guru principle. Because you are the spirit, you become your own Guru. That doesn't mean that we show disrespect to any Sadgurus. It means that we ask them to give that principle of Guru within ourselves. So just say, Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own Guru? Ask this question 3 times. 3 बार आप अपने से मुझसे सवाल करें कि माँ, क्या मैं स्वयं का गुरु हूँ? अपने पर पूर्ण विश्वास रख के पूछें. अपने प्रति कोई भी शंका कुशंका नहीं करनी चाहिए. पूर्ण विश्वास के साथ आप कहें कि माँ, क्या मैं स्वयं का गुरु हूँ? अब इस हाथ को आप नीचे के हिस्से में पेट के रखिए, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे. प्लीज कीप योर राइट हैंड ऑन द लोअर पार्ट ऑफ योर एब्डोमेन ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड. और यहाँ पर आपको एक मुझे विनती करनी है कि मैं आपकी स्वतंत्रता नहीं ले सकती, इसलिए आपको कहना होगा कि माँ मुझे आत्म साक्षात्कार चाहिए, पर उससे पहले आपको ये कहना चाहिए कि माँ मुझे शुद्ध विद्या दीजिए. जो परमात्मा का कार्य है या उसकी कार्य प्रणाली है, उसको करने की जो विद्या है उसे शुद्ध विद्या कहते हैं, जिससे कि ब्रह्म शक्ति का चलन आप कर सकते हैं, उसे शुद्ध विद्या कहते हैं. इसलिए आपको कहना होगा कि माँ मुझे शुद्ध विद्या दीजिए, जिससे आप कुंडलिनी का जागरण, दूसरों का जागरण आदि जो भी कार्य है वो कर सकें. इसके लिए आपको मांगना होगा कि माँ मुझे आप शुद्ध विद्या दीजिए. ये शुद्ध विद्या आपको प्राप्त होने के बाद सीखनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि योग के दो अर्थ लगते हैं. एक तो मतलब होता है योग माने परमात्मा से एकाकारिता, और दूसरा इसका अर्थ होता है कुशलता माने डेफ्टनेस, जिसे अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं. इसकी कुशलता आनी चाहिए. जो इसमें कुशल नहीं है, जो इसको जानकार नहीं है, उसकी कुंडलिनी जागरण से भी कुछ फर्क नहीं होने वाला. उसमें कुशलता आनी चाहिए, और वही सीखने की बात है कि उसकी कुशलता. पर पहले कोई मेहनत करनी नहीं, पहले सब अक्रिया में ही, सहज में ही सब कार्य होगा. लेकिन उसके बाद आपको सीखना पड़ेगा कि ये चीज़ क्या है. ये कुंडलिनी का जागरण होने के बाद कुंडलिनी का बहना और कुंडलिनी का कार्य कैसे होता है उसको समझ लेना. यही शुद्ध विद्या, यही शुद्ध विद्या है. और बाकी जितनी विद्याएं हैं अशुद्ध है, क्योंकि ये बिल्कुल एब्सोल्यूट एकमेव है. इसका कोई पर्याय नहीं है, इसका कोई ऑल्टरनेटिव नहीं. इसलिए आप अपना राइट हैंड पेट पर रखें. इस जगह आप मुझसे ये कहें कि माँ मुझे आप शुद्ध विद्या दीजिए 6 मरतबा. यू हैव टू से हियर दैट मदर गिव मी प्योर नॉलेज. प्योर नॉलेज इज द knowledge of the divine power that you have to know. You have to be deft in it, and that deftness is what we call is the yoga, which means kushalta, yukti. Aisi jugati karo. We have said it many a times, poetry. Aisi jugati karo. Yukti means the deftness to play, to enjoy, to maneuver this power which is divine. So you have to ask for it, because I cannot cross your freedom. So you have to say, Mother, please may I have the Shuddha Vidya. Now this is the point when you ask, the initiation of the Kundalini takes place. The Kundalini starts moving. So please say, Mother, please may I have the Shuddha Vidya. Whatever the saints have said, which are described, as you have seen, Kabir Das today was saying that this is what happens, the Ashtat Kamal opens out and this happens. Whatever they have described, they are not telling us lies. Whatever they have said is today going to happen en masse. Whatever they were truth. So we have to understand that this Shuddha Vidya we haven't got so far, so we have to ask for it in all humility. Six times. आप वहीं पकड़े रहिए, बस पीछे में आप पकड़े रहिए. आज्ञा बहुत पीछे में पकड़ रहा है, इसलिए आप नहीं, वहीं पे अपने ये इसको पकड़े रहिए. समझ रहे हैं, बस काफ़ी है. अब इस हाथ को, राइट हैंड को उठा करके आप पेट के लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में फिर से रखें, जहाँ पर पहले था, जहाँ पे गुरु का प्रिंसिपल है. नाउ प्लीज रेज योर राइट हैंड टू दैट पॉइंट वेयर यू हैड द गुरु प्रिंसिपल. नाउ द कुंडलिनी हैज स्टार्टेड मूविंग एट द गुरु प्रिंसिपल. नाउ यू अज्यूम the power of the Kundalini, by which you should have the full confidence in yourself to say that, Mother, I am my own master. With the blessings of all the great Sadgurus, you have to say, I am now my own Guru, because your Guru Tattva is being enlightened. Your Guru Tattva is being enlightened. Before that, the Guru has no meaning. Even the Sadgurus you do not know who is a Sadguru, who is a Aguru. Though they are described, everything is told, still we do not know them. So now at this point you say, Mother, I am my own Guru. आप अब पूरे आत्मविश्वास के साथ कहें कि माँ मैं स्वयं का गुरु हूँ। ये 10 मर्तबा कहने चाहिए, क्योंकि 10 गुरु होते हैं, 10 वैलेंसीज हैं, 10 धर्म हैं, इसलिए कहना पड़ता है माँ मैं स्वयं का गुरु हूँ। माँ की शक्ति को सब गुरुओं ने माना है, शक्ति को सब ने माना है, ऐसा कोई गुरु नहीं जिसने माँ की शक्ति को नहीं माना। इसलिए आप भी समझ लें कि आपके अंदर जो गुरु की शक्ति है वो भी माँ से ही आती। इसलिए आप ये कहें कि माँ मैं अपना ही गुरु हूँ, स्वयं का गुरु हूँ। इस तरह से कहने से आपकी जो माँ आपकी कुंडलिनी है ये आपको शक्ति प्रदान करेगी कि आप अपने ही गुरु हो जाए। लेकिन पहले उसको विराजना पड़ता है, उसको विराजिए पूर्ण विश्वास के साथ। ये मंत्र है आपके लिए कहना कि मैं स्वयं का गुरु हूँ। इसमें कोई अहंकार की बात नहीं। ये कुंडलिनी के लिए आसन है जो आपकी माश कुंडलिनी शक्ति है वो जागृत होकर के आपको ये शक्ति प्रदान करेगी। जो हमें बताया गया है सारे ग्रंथों में और सब जगह कि आपके अंदर आपकी शक्ति निहित है, अगर उसको आपने पाया ही नहीं तो फिर उसके आगे बात करने से फ़ायदा क्या, उसके बारे में कहने से फ़ायदा क्या। जिस तत्व को आपने जाना ही नहीं, उस तत्व से दूर रह करके आप उसके बारे में बातचीत करते हैं, उससे क्या फ़ायदा। कोई भी आदमी आपसे कभी भी कन्विंस नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि आप उस तत्व पे खड़े नहीं। उस तत्व को पाइए, फिर देखिए कौन मना करता है। कोई नहीं मना कर सकता, क्योंकि वो तत्व आपके अंग अंग से बहेगा। जैसे कि एक चंदन के वृक्ष में हर एक अंग अंग में जैसे एक सुगंध होता है, उस तरह से वो तत्व आपके अंदर से बहेगा। वो तत्व आपको पाना चाहिए। ये नहीं कि आपने किसी को गुरु मान लिया इसलिए आप उस तत्व को पा नहीं। किसी को सिर्फ गुरु मानने से नहीं होता, जो उनका गुरु तत्व है वो अपने अंदर भिन्ना चाहिए, वो आना चाहिए। जब तक वो हमारे अंदर जागरण नहीं आता तब तक हम उसे पा नहीं सकते। इसलिए सारे सद्गुरुओं को याद करके आप कहिए कि मैं माँ स्वयं का गुरु हूँ। अब इसी हाथ को आप हृदय पे रखें। हृदय पे रख के और आप ऐसा कहें कि माँ मैं स्वयं आत्मा हूँ। इसे आप पूरे विश्वास के साथ कहें, क्योंकि आप हैं। अब कोई ज़िद करे उसे मैं नहीं कह सकती। ज़िद्दी लोगों का तो कोई भी इलाज नहीं आज तक कर पाया, लेकिन कोई समझदारी की बात सोचे तो ये है कि मैं आत्मा हूँ। ऐसे सब ने कहा है कि आपको आत्मा होना है, पर जो ज़िद्दी होते हैं वो अपने अहंकार में बैठे रहते हैं। वो ये भी नहीं मानना चाहते कि मैं आत्मा हूँ। उसमें कुछ छोड़ना नहीं होता, उसमें पाना होता है। उसको छोड़ा थोड़ी जाता है, लेकिन उसको पाना होता है कि मैं आत्मा हूँ। उस अपनी स्थिति को पाना है, उसमें क्या ज़िद करना। ये कोई अक्ल की बात तो हुई नहीं कि आप इस पर भी ज़िद करें। अगर कहा जाए कि एक हीरा आपके अंदर है, उस हीरे को आप पालें, तो आप उसमें ज़िद करते हैं। लेकिन मैं अगर बाहर कह दूं कि एक हीरा रखा है जो मुफ्त में आपको मिलेगा, अनमोल हीरा रखा हो, तो आप सब दौड़ के आ जाए। इस ज़िद से आप बाज आइए। इस ज़िद से कोई फ़ायदा तो आपको हुआ नहीं आज तक। अपनी फ़ायदे की चीज़ सोचना चाहिए। तो अपने हृदय पे हाथ रख के ये कहा जाए कि माँ मैं आत्मा हूँ, या अपनी कुंडलिनी के प्रति आप जागरूक हो रहे हैं, उसको स्थान दे रहे हैं, उसकी मदद कर रहे हैं, जिससे आपकी मदद होगी। हाँ, अच्छा हो रहा है। ये आप 12 मरतबा कहें, क्योंकि हृदय चक्र के 12 कलियाँ हैं, 12 ये है जो अष्टदल बताए गए हैं, उसमें से हृदय चक्र जो है उसके 12 पंखुड़ियाँ। पूर्ण विश्वास के साथ कहें। कह के देखिए, कह के देखिए। अब अपना राइट हैंड जो है लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पर अपना जहाँ पर कि कंधा और गर्दन मिलती है उस कोण पर रखें और ज़ोर से दबाएं। प्लीज़ पुट योर राइट हैंड on the left hand side of the angle which is made by the neck and the shoulder and press it hard. Now this is the one very bad center which is caught up very much with people because conditioning is such that they all the time try to find faults with them. Tomorrow I am going to tell you about this center when it is caught up, how the troubles are caused to you. But just now please put your hand there and press it hard. It is very badly off. I tell you, it's very badly off. Now this is the center which is blocked when you have a feeling of guilt for anything. So please tell yourself or tell your mother that माँ I am not guilty. माँ मैंने कोई दोष नहीं किया, मैं निर्दोष हूँ, माँ मैं निर्दोष हूँ. ऐसे say it 16 times. माँ मैं निर्दोष हूँ. किसी ने भी आपसे दोष निकाला, आपने गलती की, ये नहीं करना चाहिए था, वो कर दिया, ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ, सब भूल जाए. इस वक्त ये कहें कि माँ मैं बिल्कुल निर्दोष हूँ, मैं मानता हूँ कि निर्दोष हूँ. क्योंकि परमात्मा जो है वो सिर्फ प्यार और कृपा के सागर नहीं है, वो सबसे अधिक क्षमा के सागर. इतने क्षमाशील हैं कि हम उस क्षमा का अंदाज़ा इस बुद्धि से नहीं कर सकते. वो सब चीज़ को क्षमा कर देते हैं क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं कि आप उनके साम्राज्य में आए और आनंद का भोग उठाएं. इसलिए हमको उन पे पूर्ण विश्वास रख के अपने को क्षमा कर देना है और कहना है कि माँ मैंने कोई भी गलती नहीं करी, मैं दोषी नहीं हूँ, मैं निर्दोष स्वच्छ शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ. आत्मा तो वैसे भी दोषी नहीं होता. अगर आप आत्मा है तो आपने दोषी कैसा किया होगा? नीचे करो, बंधन दे. आँख मत खोलिएगा इस वक्त कृपया. छोटा, काफी छोटा. अब आप अपना राइट हैंड अपने माथे पर इस तरह से रखें कि दोनों साइड से उसे आप दबा सकें. प्लीज़ कीप योर राइट हैंड ऑन योर forehead in such a way that you can press it from both the sides. At this time, at this point, at this chakra, you have to say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Please say it that I forgive everyone from your heart. इस जगह आपको कहना होगा कि माँ मैं सबको क्षमा करता हूँ. क्योंकि बहुत से लोग ऐसा सोचते हैं कि क्षमा करने में बड़ी मुश्किलें पड़ती हैं, लेकिन आप कुछ करते नहीं. दोनों भी चीज़ें जो है मिथ्या है. न तो आप क्षमा करते हैं और न ही आप क्षमा न करते. लेकिन असल में जो आप क्षमा नहीं कर रहे हैं वो एक बोझा सर पे बन के आप दूसरों के हाथों बिक रहे हैं. इसलिए ये कह दीजिए कि मैंने क्षमा कर दिया. Please say that I forgive everyone without thinking that it's difficult. Actually, you don't do anything. But mainly when you do not forgive others, then what you do is to play into the hands of others. Say it from your heart. Now, put the right hand on the back of your head at the optic lobe area. अपना हाथ अब पीछे में, सर के पीछे के हिस्से में ला करके उसे थोड़ा दबाएं, उस हिस्से को थोड़ा दबाएं। यहीं से आपकी आँखें वगैरह का चलन वलन होता है, इसको दबाएं। और यहाँ पर दबा करके, और इस जगह आपको एक बात कहनी चाहिए जो कि सब बातों का ही मूल है, कि जो आपको गलतफहमी है कि आपने गलती करी, वो गलती करी, ये सब चीज़ों के पीछे में एक बड़ा भारी तत्व है कि आप परमात्मा से डरते हैं। और परमात्मा से आप कह सकते हैं कि प्रभु, अगर हमने तुम्हारे खिलाफ़ कोई गलती की हो तो उसे माफ़ कर दीजिए। एक शब्द से कहने में कुछ नहीं होता, एक शब्द से इतना कह दें कि अगर वाकई हमने कोई गलती करी तो आप हमें क्षमा कर दें, ये कहना अच्छा रहेगा। एक बार कह देने से हो जाएगा, लेकिन उसमें फिर से आप गिल्टी और दोषी और अपनी जितनी भी गलतियां हैं उनको ना गिनते बैठे, सिर्फ कह दीजिए, जिससे कि आपको भी संतोष हो जाए। पूरे हृदय से कहे कि हमने अगर कुछ गलती की हो, तुम्हारे शान में अगर कोई गलत बात की हो तो हमें आप क्षमा कर दें। कोई तरह से हमने ज़िद करी हो, या कोई तरह से हमने बहुत अपने को समझा हो, या हमने गलत काम तुम्हारे नाम के लिए किया हो, तो हमें आप क्षमा कर दीजिए, क्योंकि वो खुद सब कुछ जानते हैं। अब यही हाथ उठा करके और आप अपने सर पे उस जगह रखें जहाँ तालु स्थान है। प्लीज़ कीप दिस हैंड on the fontanelle bone area where you had a soft bone as a child, and put your palm on that place. अपना तलवा उस पर रख के और थोड़ा उसको दबाकर और घुमाएं क्लॉकवाइज। अब ये सहस्त्रार पे जो ब्रह्मरंध्र है, जहाँ से कि कुंडलिनी का भेद होता है, वहाँ आप अपना हाथ रखें। ब्रह्मरंध्र माने जो कि ब्रह्म को अपने को खोलता है। ब्रह्म माने जो ब्रह्म की शक्ति परमात्मा की चारों ओर फैली हुई है, उसमें एकाकार करता है, उस निराकार में एकाकार करता है। उसके लिए यहाँ पर दबा करके और उसे आप ज़रा घुमाइए, और 7 मरतबा अब यहाँ पर फिर आपको कहना होगा कि माँ, मुझे आत्म साक्षात्कार चाहिए, वो मुझे दीजिए, क्योंकि मैं आपकी स्वतंत्रता नहीं ले सकती। Please put your hand on this area and press it hard and move it clockwise, and you have to say here that, Mother, I want my realization, please give me my realization, because I cannot force it on you. You have to ask for it in your own freedom. If you don't ask it, just I cannot work it out. So just put your hand here and move it. Or you can put your fingers, if you cannot reach that area, put your fingers and just move it. 7 times, you have to say that, 7 times. अब धीरे से राइट हैंड नीचे ले आइए, धीरे से, और आंखें खोलिए धीरे धीरे, आंखें बहुत धीरे खोलिए और हमारी ओर देखिए, पर कोई विचार न करिए। आप कर सकते हैं। निर्विचार समाधि बहुत लोगों में हो गई है, कुछों में नहीं हुई, लेकिन बहुत से लोगों। अब लेफ्ट हैंड अपने सर की ओर रखें, यहाँ 4 इंच ऊपर, और देखें कि कोई ठंडी हवा आ रही क्या सर में से। ज़रा ऊपर, लेफ्ट हैंड, राइट हैंड हमारी ओर और लेफ्ट हैंड ऊपर। देखिए ठंडक सी आ रही है। ये सूक्ष्म चीज़ है, सूक्ष्म है। जो लोग सूक्ष्मता पे उतर गए उनको जल्दी आसानी से महसूस होता है। देखिए, अगर आपके सर में से ठंडी हवा आ रही है, आ रही, शंका नहीं करनी। अब राइट हैंड से देखिए, राइट हैंड से देखिए, सबके आ रही होगी, थोड़ी थोड़ी आ रही है, ठीक है। गरम आ रहा है, क्या कह रहे,
ठंडी आ रही।
अच्छा ऊपर तक देखिए कहा था। देखिए अब ये चमत्कार है, आपके अंदर से ही ठंडी हवा आना। अब जिसके नहीं आएगी वो जाके कहेगा कि मेरे तो आई नहीं, तो वो कोई ब्रह्म वाक्य तो है नहीं। जो आई नहीं तो कुछ न कुछ गड़बड़ है, या कुछ बात रुक गई है, कुछ रुकावट है, उसके प्रति ज़्यादा जागरूक होना चाहिए, उसको पाना चाहिए। अब दूसरे हाथ से भी देख लें, दोनों हाथ सबके आना चाहिए। जिन्होंने भी एक बार भी परमात्मा को माना है उसके आना चाहिए, हृदय से माना, गलत तरीके से नहीं पर सही तरीके से। और नहीं भी माना लेकिन जो धर्म में बैठे हुए हैं उनके भी आने चाहिए। इतने परमात्मा कृपालु हैं आजकल। आप देखिए कि कुंडलिनी का जागरण बहुत कठिन काम था एक ज़माने में, और आज इतना सहज और सरल हो गया। आ रही है, अब दोनों हाथ हमारे और करें, हाथ में भी थोड़ी सी ठंडी ठंडी हवा सी लगी। निर्विचार, निर्विचार में बैठे, थोड़ा सा यहाँ अब हटा लीजिए, आप हट जाते, आप बस थैंक यू, आप सही। हाँ, अब दोनों हाथ ऊपर करके आप देखें कि ये ऋतंभरा प्रज्ञा जो है, जो विश्व शक्ति है, ये आपके हाथ में महसूस होती है। दोनों हाथ से देखिए, दोनों हाथ उठा के देखिए, ये पूछिए सवाल कि क्या ये वही ब्रह्म शक्ति है, यही वो निराकार परमात्मा की ओंकार शक्ति है? पूछिए। सर ऊपर कर लें, अब हाथ नीचे करके देखिए। आ रही हाथ में ठंडी ठंडी लहर आएगी। किसी किसी के नीचे से आती है, वो ऐसे ऊपर उठा ले। अगर नीचे से आ रही हो तो ऐसे नीचे से ऊपर उठा ले, थोड़ी देर रखे। हाँ, जिनके नीचे से आ रही ऊपर उठा ले, ऐसे उठा ले, ऊपर आ जाए। यही है। लेकिन वो पाने से ही नहीं हो गया, उसको जानना चाहिए। उसका जो कौशल है, कुशलता है, उसको पूरी तरह से जानना चाहिए, उसमें प्रवीण होना चाहिए, तब कोई बात हुई। नहीं तो कोई दिया जला करके टेबल के नीचे नहीं रखते, उसको ऊपर रखा जाता है जिससे दूसरे प्रकाश पाए। अब आप दे सकते हैं, सिर्फ सीख लें किस तरह से देना होगा। अब पहली मर्तबा ही आप जो कुछ आपने पृथ्वी से लिया उसे दे सकते हैं। पृथ्वी तत्व में अगर आप दे दें तो अगर किसी बीच में आप ये वाइब्रेशंस दे दें तो फिर आपको हाइब्रिड की ज़रूरत नहीं, फिर से उसमें जाना जाए। हाइब्रिड का सवाल ही उठता नहीं। अगर आप किसी गाय को दे दें तो वो इतना दूध दे देगी कि हाइब्रिड से शायद थोड़ा कम दे, लेकिन बहुत स्वादिष्ट और अच्छा, और जिसके पीने से बच्चे भी कायदे के हो जाएंगे। जो कुछ आपने सृष्टि से लिया है वो अब आप वापस दे सकते हैं। ये चैतन्य है और आप चैतन्यमय हो गए हैं, लेकिन अभी तक पूरी तरह से ये आपके अंदर प्रवाहित नहीं है। इसको आपको पूरी तरह से फिर से संभालना है। अपनी इज्जत करें और समझें कि ये जो मैं बात कह रही हूँ ये मूल की बात है। ये जो पेड़ की बात करते हैं उससे परे, जो हज़ारों वर्ष पहले कहा गया था और जो अनेक बार 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 कहा गया, वही ये चीज़ है। सिर्फ आज उसकी ये स्थिति है कि वो फलस्वरूप हो गया, जिसे कहते हैं फलद्रुप होना। क्योंकि आज बाहर आई हुई है, बहुत से फूल आए हैं और वो फल हो रहे हैं। इसमें शंका करना बहुत बड़ी बेवकूफ़ी होगी और बड़ी भारी चीज़ आपके हाथ से छूट जाएगी। घर जा कर के शांत होके बातचीत ज़्यादा न करते हुए अपने को बंधन दे लेना। और बंधन मैं आपको सिखाती हूँ कैसा दिया जाता है। जो कवच है, जो कि शक्ति का कवच है, वो ले लेना चाहिए, जिससे अपने अंदर कोई सी भी बुरी शक्तियाँ प्रभावित नहीं होती। सो कृपया इस तरह से लेफ़्ट से उठा करके और राइट में 7 मरतबा करिए। चलिए फिर से शुरुआत। 1 2 पूरा मन लगा कर, 3 पूरे से, 4 सब लोग दें, इसमें शर्माने की कौन सी बात है, 5 चाहे आपके हुआ या नहीं हुआ इससे फ़र्क नहीं पड़ने वाला, 6 और 7। अब आप आश्चर्य करेंगे कि ये करने के बाद आपकी कुंडलिनी ज़्यादा जोर मारेगी, जिनको नहीं हुआ उनको भी हो सकता है। अभी कुंडलिनी का स्थान यहाँ पर है अपने सेक्रम बोन में, और राइट हैंड से इसको आपको इसको चढ़ाना है। बहुत आसान, सब लोग चढ़ा सकते। इधर से इस तरह से आगे नीचे पीछे इस तरह से चढ़ती है कुंडलिनी। अब चलाइए इस कुंडलिनी को, इस तरह से चलाते हुए आप अपने सर को ढीला करके और यहाँ उसे बांधा है। ये अब आपके हाथ से शक्ति चल रही है। दिखने में लगता है कि ये क्या हाथ चल रहे हैं, लेकिन आपको मालूम होगा कि ईसा मसीह के जो 12 शिष्य थे उन पे जब देवी की कृपा हुई और उन्होंने जब पाया अपना, जिसको वो बैप्टिज़म कहते हैं, जो रियल बैप्टिज़म है, जो आत्म साक्षात्कार पाया, तो लोग कहने लगे कि ये क्या पागलों जैसे हाथ कर रहे हैं, और ये कौन सी बात कर रहे, चक्र की बात करते थे। वही हाल है। अब चलिए फिर से, क्योंकि आपके हाथ जो है वही जागरूक है। अब हाथ पीछे करिए और ज़ोर से दीजिए। 1 2 फिर से एक बार। ये देखिए अब कितने जल्दी हाथ उठ रहा। और ये तीसरे मर्तबा 3 दीजिएगा गांठें, 2 और 3। अब देखिए आपके हाथ कितने खुल गए, सर भी ठंडा हो गया। हो गए? बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कल भी फिर आप आइएगा। कल मैं आपको इमोशनल साइड हमारी कैसे डिस्टर्ब होती है उसके बारे में बताऊंगी। हाँ सॉरी, टुमारो नहीं, डे आफ्टर टुमारो। डे आफ्टर टुमारो आइए। हाँ उसके बाद 3 दिन है। डे आफ्टर टुमारो आइए। आप बताओ, सब लोग आना शुरू करेंगे। आपका वही लाना यहाँ पर लाना ये ओम प्रकाश अरे वो पेपर वाली